first thing you do is you make your horizon line. Then you paint in the sunset because we're creating a landscape during twilight. So you're going to create that twilight sky of purples and blues. And I've only given you purple and blue in your palette. Then once you've created a sky, you've painted in your whole sky, and while your paper is still really wet, you're going to shake a bunch of salt onto it, which will give it a nice snowy texture to it. Then we're going to create our fence. Draw a zigzag line to the horizon line, and then sort of a V shape out. Those are our two fences, two poles of the fence, and you make small, close together fence posts. The further back you go, the closer they'll be. Now, be sure those fence posts are straight up and down. You might want to make them diagonal because you're working with diagonal lines. Be sure to erase that. Make sure you have nice, straight up and down fence posts that get larger and further apart the closer you get to the bottom of the paper. Now that's just a guide with your pencil. Then you're going to get your color pencil and you're going to color right over that pencil mark that you made, because you can't erase a colored pencil very easily. And you color over those fence posts, and you do the fence posts first, and the ones that are close to you should be much thicker than the ones that are further away. The ones that are further away are probably going to be just a single pencil mark, where the ones that are closer to you are going to be actually much wider. See the difference there? That's barely a pencil width, and that's much further. Then don't just draw the line straight across. Actually draw each individual fence length, and then you can create sort of a shading effect by pushing down harder under the fence and lighter on top. Okay, now set that to the side, because now we're going to work on the trees. First, you're just going to take this paper and you're just going to tear long, skinny strips. The strips can be anywhere between 1 finger length to 2 or 3 finger lengths. You don't want them to be too thick though, because we're creating birch trees, which are long, skinny trees. Then you're going to take a fine tip Sharpie, and you're going to create curved lines. Those curved lines are like the scar marks on a birch tree. And you create those curved lines. You don't go necessarily all the way around, just some curved lines on either side, and then tear the bottom to give it a natural edge. You can also add a little scar where a tree used to be, and that would be a little oval. Tear the bottom. Make it look pretty random, because nature is fairly random. And there's a couple of little holes there. Then we're going to create a shadow on these. You're going to get some gray water, some water with a little bit of black water paint in it, and you're just going to create a little shadow along the side of the tree to be the opposite side of where your sun is. So if you painted your sun on the left side, as I did, you're going to create your shadow on the right side of the tree. This paper is very thin, so make sure that you always place your paper on top of a dry surface. And you don't need a whole lot of shadow there. Just a little bit will do. Set those off to the side. Bring this back over. Now your paint should be nice and dry. And you just scrape that off with a little scrapey sponge that I'm going to give you so that all the salt is gone. And then start creating your composition for your trees. Lay your trees out and figure out where you want them before you glue them down. The further back, or the further up on the page they are, the further back they are in the landscape. Use glue stick and glue them down. It's okay that they're hanging off the edge for now. We'll cut them off later. As I'm looking at this, I think I'm going to go ahead and change it and put my tree over there so it's overlapping that fence, which will give it even more depth. Then turn it over and just cut off the tops, And now we're ready for our shadows. So we're going to create a shadow from your sun, casting your sun. So you're going to be drawing a diagonal line from where your sun is down to the edge of the page with the gray water. Nice tall shadows for your tall trees and nice short little shadows for your short little fence posts. And because a shadow would go under a fence, this shadow will go ahead and paint under the fence. Also, the shadow shouldn't be any thicker than the thing casting the shadow. So from the base of the tree all the way down and under the fence to the edge of the paper, but no thicker than that tree. And then I'm just going to add a little shadow for that fence there, and then I'm all done.